shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you. And I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread.
Famine.
Famine. Famine.
Famine. Famine is at the door.
The situation here is heartbreaking.
And risks escalating into a catastrophe.
And today we are receiving a final warning.
A famine? Senator, I have not heard the word famine in years.
We do see that we have an impending famine, and I've heard from David Beasley at the World Food Bank that he's now going to have to take from the hungry to feed the starving.
With regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages, and it's going to be real.
There are big concerns right now about the nation's winter wheat crop, with extremely dry soils persisting in the southern plains. For example, in Kansas, 50% of the crop right now is rated poor to very poor.
Wow. We live in really perilous times.
We are entering that zone of danger where lack of food can be used to manipulate the people.
I would not be surprised if by 2025, if 1 billion people aren't dead. I mean, we're really heading into the most epic
famines that have ever happened in human history.
We had the harsh winter, dry conditions. Farmers in Kansas are abandoning their entire crop. There was one farmer that was mentioned in a news article, 4,000 acres had to be abandoned completely. Other areas, some of the wheat came up, but they're going to have to cut it for feed for animals because it's not good enough for human consumption. It's not good enough for harvesting. And so what we're seeing is across the central of the United States, the winter wheat has been devastated. And we're not even talking about this yet. We're still waiting for the damage of this Omega block, which has caused a lot of cold weather to hang around across a lot of the corn-producing states from Illinois on east, all the way to Ohio and Pennsylvania. We've had a lot of cold weather, which is probably going to affect the corn crop because it damages the germination at the beginning stage there. All right, so things are not looking wonderful in the United States.
Pretty soon, your food supply is going to be limited, and I've told you this, and now we have more proof. Your food supply is going to be limited to what food is already in your home. We have covered it, but we've got another element to add to this, a major element, written to me by a farmer connected to the data, very successful farmer, someone who knows exactly what he's talking about, and he cites professional data. I'm going to read verbatim to this report that was prepared for me by people who know. And I'll just go verbatim. Winter wheat conditions as of April 25th. Texas, 55% poor to very poor. Oklahoma, 63% poor to very poor. Kansas, 62% poor to very poor. Nebraska, 45% poor to very poor. Drought conditions continue from central Texas north through the high plains into Wyoming, Nebraska, and the Dakotas. Wheat harvest would normally begin in June in Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. Most notably, acres will be released by federal crop insurance soon. Whatever might be left will be grazed, hayed, or simply destroyed. Would have to assume at least a minimum of a 30% reduction in winter wheat production. It's a lot worse than the 18,000 cows that got blown up. I'm not sure how this compares to the 111 food processing plants that have been
How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her.